You are in a cult, or at least you might be. The term cult classic is a label that's put on movies, TV shows, or even anime to describe a piece of media. But what does it even mean? I spent hours painstakingly searching through old Reddit posts and Mal forums, desperately trying to find a definitive answer. The Oxford Dictionary describes a cult classic as something that is popular or fashionable among a particular group or section of society. But what about One Piece or Naruto? I mean, they're massively popular among a particular group, but I wouldn't classify them as a cult classic. Cult classics are these obscure but passionately loved pieces of media that either pass or don't pass the vibe check of the prestigious label. So who's to say? Who's the final judge on which series gets to wear this label or not? My definition would sound something like this. Cult classics are niche pieces of media that create a subculture based on the source material either on release or later in time. Movies, TV shows, or even anime that after their release have taken on a life of their own. Despite not reaching that massive blockbuster success, their quality is on par with the contemporaries that did, alongside an extremely dedicated fan base that transcends time and ensures the series' relevancy for years to come. So what makes an anime a cult classic, and what anime would even fall into this category? Well, one of the most obvious answers would be a show you may have heard of, released in 1998. Serial Experiments Lain was first released in 1998, a whole year before I was even born, yet recently this has been one of the most talked about and referenced anime among people of my generation. It's no surprise that the internet as we know it has almost completely erased the thought of media having a shelf life. Movies, TV shows, music are all being preserved online for future generations to discover and enjoy, as well as breathing a second life into them at the same time. That's exactly the case for BoA, a band formed in 1993 who you might have heard their song Duvet. Duvet was featured as the intro to Lain, and is one of the most recognizable intros in anime history. Not only is the song a banger, but it also captures the feel and aesthetic of Lain to a T, and was hugely impactful to the show's long-term success and memorability. Fast forward 2 decades later, and videos using the song are being uploaded to a little app called TikTok. The song exploded, and as of today has almost 300,000 videos using the song on the platform. From viral memes to Mr. Beast, the song has been completely revived for a new generation. Yet, Lain's impact is impossible to miss, as one look at the comments and you will find fans of the series all rejoicing at the sudden resurgence. BoA and Lain are both phenomenal, yet among the newer generation, Duvet is that one song off of TikTok, as opposed to the opening of one of the most impactful and forward-thinking anime of all time. But what makes Serial Experiments Lain so impactful, that it's still being talked about all this time later? Serial Experiments Lain follows Lain, a junior high school girl who, despite being socially reserved, leads a fairly normal life. Lain is a very weird show, to say the least. What am I watching? I am so confused. I watched Lain for the first time recently and I thought it was really good. Granted, I did have to rewatch parts and dabble in some Any Explained videos to truly grasp what I just watched, but I don't think it diminishes Lain's quality whatsoever. In fact, I think that was the goal for the series, to create a conversation. What I love most about Serial Experiments Lain is the ability to look back at a series created before the internet is as we know it today. The show discusses and predicts very real problems in today's society, like online harassment and IRL streamers. Lain was as ahead of its time as it gets. The show is filled with abstract visuals that make you question what's real and what isn't, never giving you too much information to create this environment of unease throughout the entirety of your watch time. Even when the show slows down, the void is filled with this omniscient static that drowns out any chance to think about what has just happened. I don't think that there's been any other series that tackles the potential dangers of an online society in the way that Lain was able to. The way the series was able to express these ideas is at the core of what makes it so special. Being able to look back and cross-reference the show's themes with current-day events, as well as the series serving as a means of introspection to how we interact with the internet ourselves. Lain is a show that either is loved or hated. Some herald it as a modern masterpiece that predicts and showcases the impending doom of a modern online world. And some who think the show is garbage, makes no sense, and it's only liked so people can feel cool and different. Regardless of what you think, Lain's impact is undeniable, and not only has hours of content online breaking down every little detail, but Lain herself is an icon in her respective niche. The series' visuals have become heavily influential to the cyber Y2K aesthetic that has seen a massive resurgence online recently as well. I think Lain is a show that everybody should watch. Grab some snacks and dedicate a weekend to watching it and trying to interpret what you think the show is trying to say for yourself. The quality, impact, and time timeless nature all culminate into making Serial Experiments Lain a cult classic. Around the same time Duvet was blowing up on TikTok, another artist was seeing a resurgence as well. This time, it was Japanese producer Nujabes. Jun Seba, also known by his artist name Nujabes, is widely considered a major pioneer for the lo-fi genre. Nujabes was a major influence of rap in the early 2000s as well, and just listening to some of his work, you can instantly tell his impact. However, Nujabes and his resurgence would be tied to that of an anime that he would never get the chance to watch. You have no enemies. This quote spearheaded a series of videos online in reference to the series Vinland Saga. Nujabes would end up becoming a major part of this trend with his song Aurorian Dance. Aurorian Dance was released in 2004 as part of the OST for the show Samurai Champloo. Nujabes, in collaboration with Fat John, created the original soundtrack for the series, and if you've seen the show, it's no surprise why Manglobe, the studio behind Samurai Champloo, decided to use their work. Samurai Champloo is a masterpiece. It's one of the few shows that I consider to be perfect. The show manages to create such an impactful story all within 26 short episodes and is easily one of my favorite series of all time. The show depicts Edo period Japan with an almost complete disregard of historical accuracy in favor of a modern era hip-hop aesthetic. The visuals in this show are breathtaking and have so many minute details that make the show just so goddamn memorable. For example, the eye catchers in the show are insane. They are these highly stylized Adult Swim-esque cutaways that are all wallpaper worthy. The fights are crazy, and don't even get me started on the characters. From the creator of Cowboy Bebop, it should be no surprise that this series has character and swag out the ass. However, this is one tragic show, and I was shedding tears like a baby at some parts. But by far, the defining part of this series is that beautiful, beautiful soundtrack handcrafted by Nujabes and Fat John. This is one of the best soundtracks of all time, let alone anime. This was not some phoned-in addition to the series. Every track has its moment to shine and adds so much to the show. The music and visuals work together like a perfectly choreographed dance, and it's perfect. The series is hilarious as well. I think the baseball episode might be one of the funniest episodes of anime I have ever seen, and the episode is easily my favorite out of the entire series, despite being completely detached from the main plot.
Please. Wow. Who are you? Who are you? Oh, America Jin. Shut up!
Samurai Champloo lives on today through a variety of ways, and none more so than Nujabes' legacy. Rest in peace, GOAT. Samurai Champloo is phenomenal, and despite not even being in the top 100 of my anime list, it's easily on par with shows like Attack on Titan, Vinland Saga, and others that have seen high levels of success. Serial Experiments Lain and Samurai Champloo are completely different, yet at their core, they both offer the same thing: beautiful visuals, an unforgettable watching experience, and enough character for the show to become your new personality for at least a couple months. Cult classics are awesome, and they exist in all shapes and sizes. I love that everyone, for the most part, usually has something that they hold dear to them that falls within this category. Having people connect over something niche and so oddly specific is beautiful, and the opportunities that these pieces of media give are genuinely one of a kind. Fooly Cooly, Ergo Proxy, Legend of the Galactic Heroes, I could go on for hours giving each one of these shows their flowers that they deserve, but I would much rather hear from you. What's a show that you love that might be considered a cult classic? What's that one show that after all this time you just can't get out of your head? There are honestly too many to count, and even more to debate, but that's what makes a cult classic so special, finding your people that also watched and loved that obscure random one-off show that changed your life. So now, only one question remains. Are you in a cult? If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. Consider subscribing if you enjoyed, and like the video only if you genuinely liked it. Sorry for taking so long in between uploads. I had no expectations for this channel, and now it's yeah. If I'm gonna be honest, I spent the first week after I uploaded my last video just refreshing comments and my YouTube dashboard with my jaw on the floor. I genuinely thank you for all of the nice comments that were left, and for everyone that has been patiently waiting for a follow-up video, I hope that I didn't disappoint. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, later.